If you were trying to learn your handstand kick up, but when you kick up, you're all over the place, your body is waving, and you're struggling to find that control and balance in the kick up, then stop. You are actually building bad habits as you kick up over and over and over, and your shoulders are in the wrong position to really balance efficiently in your handstand. And if you have giant body waves, that takes far more energy and more difficulty to actually balance in your handstand. You need to bring it down to the floor and build shoulder strength and isolation before we learn the handstand kick up. Once you have that strength and shoulder isolation and your shoulders know what the correct position to balance in the handstand is, it'll be far easier to control your handstand kick up. So let me show you some of the top drills to prioritize to build that shoulder and scapula and trap strength for your handstands. This first shoulder isolation strength, we're gonna use a plate, or you can also use a couple yoga blocks as well, but something very low and easy. And we're going to set up just before it. Now, the most important thing is that you're fully pressing through your shoulders, setting your shoulders just over your wrists, so not behind your wrist, but they should almost be between your knuckle and your wrist joint. You have to fully press up through your shoulders, leave them in and lock them in place so they don't move at all, and then as you hop up and down from the plate. Now, the tendency you're gonna feel is to collapse through your shoulders and be hopping like this. That is not benefiting us. We have to practice and learn pressing and fully protracting through the shoulders, isolating the shoulder strength here for controlled reps. Elbows staying fully locked out, fully protracting through the shoulders. If you are feeling your shoulders move back and forth at all, or you feel bouncing through your shoulders, so that would look like you're moving back and forth, your head's moving, your shoulders are moving. That is not what we want. We have to learn, press, protract, lock them in place as if you're freezing your shoulders, hopping up and down. Once we can do this for up to about 10 to 20 reps with your shoulders frozen in place without moving, then you're ready to move on to the next height. Moving on to the next height, make sure it's not too drastic of a jump. You still want to be able to control your shoulder isolation. Same principles apply. We need to fully press out through your scapulas, activating your traps, pressing through and freezing your shoulders in place. Make sure your weight is into your fingertips. And then, freezing your shoulders in place, we're gonna hop up to the bench, back down. Keep pressing up through the shoulders. You should not see any drastic waving through your shoulders. You need to practice this until your shoulders can stay isolated the entire time. As this gets comfortable, you can start to add a little bit of a float as you hop up and as you hop down. That float comes when your shoulders start to build the strength and the awareness to press through and control your body weight as you're floating and through the air. What that looks like, this is nothing drastic. It's a very light. Again, setting the shoulders, we always start with the solid foundation, pressing through, freezing your shoulders in place as you hop. Start to feel that float in the air. Very important, make sure your elbows are staying locked out the entire time and you're fully pressing through your shoulders. If your elbows are bending, that just means you need a little bit more time on this drill. Now the next drill, we need a box that's a little bit higher, about above your knee, somewhere in that height is good. And then we're gonna come down and practice a very slow, controlled, basically kick up assisted with the box. Now, this drill is called the bazooka and it's one of my favorite drills because, again, it builds that foundation of that shoulder scapula strength as we push out. And if you are dreaming of getting your handstand press someday, this is a great drill to already build that solid foundation of that shoulder strength that we utilize for our handstand press later on. So setting up for this drill, you're gonna take your hands out in front of it far enough that your opposite foot can hinge in front of the box. And then we do the same setup where we press through the shoulders, leaning your shoulders towards your knuckles to build that strength in the shoulders, slightly leaning forward. From there, we again isolate and freeze the shoulders as we hover this foot off the ground. Now, while pressing through your shoulders and pulling your ribs in, we slowly start to press all the way up into the handstand. This foot on the box becomes very light, but I don't want you to overarch and compensate. Think about tall, straight, pressed handstand, then pressing through the shoulders, leaning them over the knuckles, pulling your ribs in as you slowly decompress. Now, it's important that we're doing this drill very slowly. That will build the strength in the shoulders, going from the closed shoulder angle position all the way up into full extension. The same movement that we utilize and the same strength that we need for our handstand kick up. This next drill, we're gonna come down to the ground on our knees, and we're gonna go to the tops of our feet. Now, if you're new to this drill, then make sure you use padding, a cushion, yoga mats, whatever you need to make this comfortable. The reason we're going to the tops of our toes is if we're on the top of our feet, we can push less through our feet, and we can utilize the shoulder strength and isolation more. So you're gonna take your hands next to your knees. Again, press through your shoulders, press up through your scapula, and then off the tops of your feet up. Now, this might be all you can go right here, or if you have a little bit more mobility and range, you might be able to continue all the way up. Pick whatever level is safe for you currently, and then you can gradually get higher and higher. So again, you might just look like going right here, or you might be able to press all the way up. And if you are only able to go to here, don't worry, gradually you'll get higher and higher. The main point you need to focus on is your shoulder isolation, the same that we've been working in all of the other drills. We're pressing through the shoulders and the scapula and the traps as you press your hips all the way up. Keep pressing out and back down. When you are doing all of these drills, it is important that you continually press out through your shoulders. Setting it once, you will, without even realizing it, start to collapse the shoulders. So you have to continually press through your shoulders to really get the most benefit out of these drills. As that drill gets easier, you can grab sliders for the tops of your feet. And while again, keeping the shoulders pressed out and isolated, you can go up to the pike, down to the tuck, extend out. Now we don't want to go so far that we collapse through the shoulders. You need to stay pressed out and hollow the whole time. Pull your knees back, up, really working that shoulder strength. Doing these, really pay attention to your shoulders, pressing out through your shoulders and your traps. That will give you the most benefit in all of these drills. So the more you can press out, the more effective these will be for your handstands. Now, in combination to these floor drills, where we're already building the shoulder strength and the scapula strength in the shoulders in that slightly closed angle position, we're gonna come to the wall and work the strength in the straight hold position. Now, why it's so important to work the handstands against the wall versus just trying to happen to catch something freestanding is here we can really set our shoulders in the correct position and the most optimal balancing shoulder position. So the first drill we're going to start with is just shoulder leans. So we're going to come belly facing the wall, walk your hands back, and now we want to make sure we're fully pressing through the shoulders, pull the ribs in and tuck your pelvis. So we're in a tall straight line, and then you're just gonna lean your shoulders forward. Now be careful you don't just pike your butt over your hips. Keep your body in a tall straight line, slightly leaning, building the shoulder strength. Keep pressing out as you lean forward and as you lean back. Now the next drill, we're going to keep our feet in a slight split and practice peeling our toes slightly off the wall. What this does is it teaches us how to control the handstand by shifting the weight into our fingertips where we optimally need to be in the handstand. But don't move your feet yet. Keep your feet isolated in the position. So we're gonna walk up to the belly facing handstand again. Now, we always want to set our shoulders first, press our shoulders over our knuckles, so we're already close to that ideal handstand alignment. Careful not to arch over. Keep pressing up. Now, keep pressing through your fingers. We're just going to shift our weight into our fingers to pull our foot off the wall. And back. Back. And forth. You'll notice my foot is just slightly hovering off the wall because I'm already pretty close to that straight handstand alignment before I leave the wall. So it's not a drastic movement, but our body is waving back and forth. When you first start this drill, you're gonna be just barely getting your foot off the wall and coming right back. Gradually, you're gonna get to where you can start to hold and hover the foot off the wall for a couple seconds. As you get comfortable with that, really try to get to the point where you can control pulling your foot off the wall for 5 seconds and intentionally coming back to the wall. So you're controlling that balance point back and forth. Build up to where you can do this consistently for 5-second holds for 3 rounds in one handstand hold. Now the next drill, we can practice the very top of the handstand where we're just bringing our feet together. So you'll come just a little bit farther away from the wall. Belly facing again. Press through the shoulders, set one foot already, hips in retroversion, pressing through the shoulders, and then you can slowly start to pull your foot off the wall so you meet in that tall handstand alignment. Back. Now notice my shoulders aren't bouncing, I'm really isolating through my shoulders so they don't move at all. Controlling back and forth. Thank you guys for watching. If this video was helpful, please like and subscribe if you are passionate about handstands so we can grow this community together. And I will see you guys next week.